Oh, welcome back, everybody, to the Below Average Joe's MMA Podcast, episode 79. It's Monday. That means we're here with another results and recap, this time for hashtag UFC Vegas 21. Is that what it is?
We're racking them up now, yeah.
Yeah, UFC Vegas really does just keep growing and growing. But your host, as always, Noah B. and Dominic Salee. We're beginning another week. Dominic, how does it feel?
We're halfway through March.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just yesterday where we said, oh crap, it's March and we got to break down all these amazing title fights. Now we're halfway through it, but we're just churning them out. A lot of good fights, some weird fights last night, weird endings. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what happened. How are you, though?
I'm good. I'm here. Yeah, I'm good, though. It's always nice to get to watch a fight card. I mean, I say that every week, broken record. But, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to really dig into here from Saturday night's fights. And you're right. There was some weird ones, obviously weird endings, as you can, you probably are aware. 2 fights ended in a no contest.
And now back-to-back weeks with weird shit happening.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern, isn't it, right now?
Yeah, it's funky.
But we're going to get into that. Before we do, however, it's time for the news.
The news.
One fight announcement to talk about here.
But, oh my, it's a good one.
What a fight announcement it is.
This one got announced and I shit myself.
I was not ready for it. Happening at UFC 262 on May 15th. A little lightweight bout featuring Beneil Dariush, who we are the biggest members of his fan club.
Yes.
And he's going up against Tony Ferguson.
The Boogeyman,
who we are also big fans of.
Wow. Is this every fight fan's type of fight here?
Come on. I know Beneil might not have the name value to the casual fan base as Tony might, but on paper, this is an amazing fight.
6-fight win streak.
Yeah, and I do want to just, at the top here, point this out. I know there's a lot of concern about Tony, his decline, I guess you can call it. 2020 was not a great year for Tony Ferguson. Back-to-back losses, both in pretty dominant fashion. The Justin Gaethje fight, I think, is a little more even than people give it credit for, but still, Gaethje kind of pummeled him, especially at the end. Then he takes a fight with Charles Oliveira.
That one
gets absolutely dominated.
One-sided, yeah.
However, it's very clear coming off those fights, Gaethje and Oliveira could very well be
2 top guys.
number 1 and number 2 in the lightweight division without Khabib.
Yeah.
So a step back here at a guy who's he's right now in that fringe top 10 role like Beneil Dariush. I think it's a very appropriate step back for Tony.
Yeah, it is.
But it's still a dangerous opponent.
Oh, this is incredible matchmaking.
Yeah, it really is.
This is one of those, we throw this phrase around, beautiful chaos. This is violence. This is going to be violence, blood, guts, 2 guys as tough as nails, never going to turn away from a fight, a battle. Both guys like to get hit every now and then.
Yeah.
This is a barn burner of a fight, and for both guys, a lot to prove in 2 totally different aspects.
That's a good way to put it. I was going to say it's the biggest fight of Beneil Dariush's career.
Oh, yeah.
But in some ways, it might be the biggest fight in Tony's career because of the implications.
Yeah.
He is on a 2-fight losing streak after that huge winning streak he had been on, where he was kind of the uncrowned champ at times, it seemed. Now he's lost to the top to 2 guys that are top 5, top 3, whatever.
So on paper, technically, you give him a step back, but man,
who knows if it's a step back?
Exactly.
Dariush, one of the reasons we became such fans of him. If you remember our very first episode, our pilot episode, was recapping the Derek Lewis Alexei Olenek card where he had the spinning back fist KO.
Man, this dude's a dog.
He's really been making huge strides. Last year was a great year for him.
And that fight he had with Ferreira in January was
Ferreira
great.
was a good fight. He's really coming into his own here, and and it's going to be interesting to see how he fares against a guy who is always violence.
Exactly. And you pointed out this is UFC 262, right, in May.
Yep.
This is a card that still has no title fight yet.
Yeah.
And it's a stacked card, as we were just talking about right now, as is. So it's interesting. We were even saying off before we hit record, like, maybe they throw another lightweight fight on there, potentially for an interim belt. I mean, May kind of lines up for all those guys. Gaethje hasn't fought in a while. October. Chandler he didn't even get touched in his fight.
Yeah.
Oliveira's ready. He didn't get touched by Tony in December. I think something else is going to be added.
And then you got Dustin and Connor
Dustin,
out there.
Connor, who knows when that'll happen.
Amanda Nunes is an option. They
Yeah.
want to turn her around. I have a feeling that's going to be at least one.
I would imagine so, her and Pena.
It wouldn't hurt it to see a Gaethje Chandler or
Yeah.
Oliveira.
I just have a feeling something else big is going to be plopped into that.
Oh, it has to
card.
be. I mean, there's no way Ferguson Benil's
No.
going to be main eventing or anything. I think a co-main would be reasonable,
Yeah.
but I'd love to see like 2 title fights above it.
Oh, man.
Chef's kiss. You already got Barboza Burgos on there. You got Alex Perez, Matt Schnell, Andrea Lee, Antonina Shevchenko, Chukagian Arroyo.
Rankings next to every one of those names.
That's
That's a freaking card.
Even Priscilla Cachoeira and Gina Mazzani is a good fight.
That's an incredible card.
Yeah.
Who
but
knows what's going to be added? But, man, Ferguson and Dariush, I mean, early contender for obviously fight of the night that night. I don't care what other fights get added to the card.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. I might even go as far to say that could be a fight
Fight of the year. Yeah, no shit.
It's usually the kiss of death, it seems, though, to even throw that out there. But I feel kind of confident in that one. I don't know.
Yeah, fight fans alike across the community are lighting up for that one, for sure.
Yeah, that's coming to you, UFC 262 on May 15th. And that's the end of
That's it.
the news.
The news.
All right,
Fights.
let's recap.
A little funky.
Yep, hashtag UFC Vegas 21. We had 6 fights to break down, 2 of those ending in no contest. There's some takeaways, though, here, but we start with the prelim notables.
Yes.
Now, Dominic, who is your prelim notable for hashtag UFC Vegas 21?
Well, since they somehow managed to put Angela Hill on the prelims, you bet your ass I'm going with Overkill Hill here. She looked so good last night against Ashley Yoder. A rematch years in the making. Man, she looked so incredible in the clinch. The knees to the body made me want to throw up. Her clinch work was incredible. Wrestling, striking, super aggressive. Never stopped going for the finish. Even submissions on the ground. Angela Overkill Hill at 36 years of age. Still, honestly, looking better now than she ever has before. 2 fights before this, razor-thin splits that you could argue she won. And, add those 2 to her record all of a sudden is looking pretty solid. And she's never strayed away from a tough fight. And I can't wait to see what's next for Overkill Hill.
Yeah,
man.
she looked great. She really did. And I've even heard some people throwing around the idea of her potentially pushing for a title shot here soon.
You never know.
Which is so weird for someone who has an under 500 UFC record. But, some of these losses, especially in 2020,
Yeah.
were so close. Even me thinking that she won at least one of those. Claudia Gadelia fight sticking out to me, but then even the fight with Michelle Waterson was so
fight
close.
too.
So I it's crazy kind of what she's been able to accomplish even in her losses, and now to get a big win over Ashley Yoder. Good for her. Good to see her get back on track.
And I hope she has the fight with Tisha Torres, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the fight she wanted. Apparently Tisha didn't want it. I don't really know what all happened. But Angela Hill is ranked for a reason, and she deserves that. That's another rematch in the making, by the way. They've been talking trash to each other. I want that next. I know we don't matchmake for prelim notables, but
still,
that's what I think she
that'd
deserves.
Be fun. That'd be fun. As for my prelim notable, there's a couple options here. Just shout outs to guys like Matthew Semmelsberger getting that 16-second knockout of Jason Witt.
Yeah, literally first fight of the day.
Yeah,
and it was
right
over.
there. Randy Yaya's another one, a guy who had a fight of the night performance on that Thiago Santos Glover Teixeira card. He submits Ray Rodriguez, furthers his standing as I believe, if I'm going to word this properly, he has the most submission wins in UFC bantamweight history. Just an interesting thing to note there.
Good company when you look at a division like that.
Yeah, so he's been looking really good as of late. My pick, though, is going to be Charles Jourdain. He ended up getting a TKO over Marcelo Rojo in the 3rd round.
What a fight.
What a fight. I mean, it went back and forth. Charles Jourdain was probably losing the fight. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but it went back and forth. The reason I'm picking him is because in his corner, before the 3rd round starts,
dude, chills.
He said, I'm going to be a world champ. Now, do I think he's going to be a world champ? I don't know. But usually when a guy says something like that and it gets caught on camera, you're like looking to see it on some cringe compilation later.
Yeah.
But then to see him
he went out
start
and fought
that
like
round,
one.
he literally fought like I'm fighting for my life kind of thing.
Yeah, coaches told
and
you.
This is a guy coming off of a huge win he had. I want to say it was the end of 2019 over Do Ho Choi, and that was another fight where he was losing, and then knocks out Do Ho Choi, a guy who had shown to have a granite chin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been in wars.
So Jourdain, I'm ready to kind of tap him as the Rocky Balboa here, a guy who you just can't put. If you don't put him away, then he will find a way to get that victory.
Yeah, man. The corner said you got to go finish the fight. Look what he does. Finishes the fight.
So I was just so impressed by that kind of that mental toughness and that willpower there. So I have to give him the prelim notable there.
I love it.
Now we'll move on to the main card.
Well,
we start. This is a no contest sandwich here.
Yeah.
We start with Eric Anders and Darren Stewart's fight going to a no contest due to an illegal knee.
To a grounded opponent. That's 2 weeks in a row, ladies and gentlemen.
Sound familiar? This happened in the first round, towards the end of the first round. What were kind of your thoughts of the fight and what happened here?
Great fight early on, and then Eric just began to pour on that pressure. And he looked great on the feet last night and he was going for takedowns and his clinch control up against the fence. Darren Stewart really began to have no answers after a while. He was getting worn down. And all of a sudden, Anders throws the illegal knee, an obvious one. Darren Stewart clearly, not only did he have a knee down, had his hand touching the mat as well. And he goes on to still land the knee. Man, what's going on? You know what's funny? I saw this on Twitter. When Jan did it last week,
I saw this.
Eric Anders said that he's like channeling his inner pride rules or something. Jan then quote tweeted that tweet last night with the palm to the face emoji. So what are we doing? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Like, this is day. I mean, this is like stuff that I remember when I was learning more about the sport when I first started watching. It's one of the first things. You know, because when I was watching it with you, I'd go, why? How come when the guy's on the ground, he's not just throwing knees or kicks to his face or stomps, you know? And you just explained to me that was illegal. So these are guys that have been living, breathing, fighting in it for years. And I know that different promotions have different rule sets. But come on, man.
Well,
these are two guys that are veterans of the UFC. They've been fighting under these kind of rules for years. And it's just a shame because Eric Anders was clearly looking like he might finish this fight.
He could have finished it in that round.
And now he loses. He doesn't get his win bonus.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a win in general.
Nope.
And he could have even been arguably given some sort of performance of the night bonus.
Yeah. And you know, now we got to go into, okay, Jan's. Did you hear all this, like, explaining of the difference of Jan's knee and this knee and how Jan's was determined intentional against Aljo. Therefore, it becomes a loss.
Right.
So last night, Eric Anders' knee was determined unintentional, and since it happened within the first 2 rounds, the fight is ruled a no contest. If that knee would have happened in the 3rd round, they judge the fight up until the knee lands and then still score a winner and loser. And I did not know that until last night. There is a lot of shit going on. And it's like, how do you determine unintentional versus intentional? Because you threw the knee.
How can you say that a knee is unintentional?
Right. It's a strike that you knew you threw.
It wasn't like he was... It's not an example of like Eric Anders going for the body and Stewart moving his head at the last second and hit... No,
yeah, like, that is where you could say like an unintentional for sure.
This was legitimately like lining him up.
Yeah.
Knee to the face.
And that is intentional. Yet, they ruled it unintentional, therefore no contest.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd probably rather them rule it a no contest.
Right. I agree.
But
it's just weird.
But it's just weird under the rule set. It feels like there's some
Yeah.
inconsistencies, and especially because we had these two situations happen week to week.
Yeah.
It makes it even worse. It's a worse look.
And so based off of that like scoring part, so if Jan had landed that knee last week and not been told prior by Mark Smith, hey, he's down, and then he threw it, and it would have been deemed unintentional, they would have had to score the fight.
Really?
Because it was in the nearly
and Jan
the 5th round.
would have won via split decision because that was apparently the way the scorecards were. That's such a weird...
I never knew that until last night. There was a video that came out with one of the UFC guys, and he was explaining to the media everything going on. So, man, I don't know what's going on, but I hate seeing this back-to-back. And then the fact that we start the night, or start the main card and end it with a no contest, it's just like, man.
Yeah, it just kind of, for a great night of fights that it was, there was a lot of good moments on here.
Yeah.
Quick flash KOs.
Well, like you said, and then it just gets sandwiched.
Yeah.
In between,
And you get sandwiched, and this is not what I like to see. I get it. Some people love the controversy of it all, and, but that's not me. I'd rather just see clear winners and losers. Yep. Like, that's the point.
Exactly.
And that's not really even going to change with this next fight, in my opinion. Because after this, we go to flyweight with Matheus Nicolau and Manel Kape. Matheus getting the split decision over Manel Kape. 29-28 times 2 for Nicolau, and then 28-29 for Kape. So, Manel Kape now 0-2 in the UFC.
Should be 1-1.
I think I speak for a lot of people where I say we both agree on this. Kape won the fight, in our opinion.
Great fight.
Great. It was all, by the way, fight of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is my main fight of the night. Matthias looked great. First round, looked really good, had the takedowns. He clearly won round 1.
Yeah.
Round 2, Kape looked like a beast.
Yeah.
Started to really unload. We finally saw him with the output.
He hurt Nicolau in that second round.
And that was the Kape we were all looking forward to when he made his debut. The output he was putting on, the quick hand speed, and the power he possesses to be a 125er. Woo! Then round 3, back and forth. Yeah. It was an incredible round, razor thin until the end. Kape lands nasty knees to the body that clearly hurt Matthias. And to me, that was like, okay, that's it.
So to me, it's all about damage at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So he landed the hardest shots of that round.
Yep.
A round that was back and forth, very close.
Once those knees ended, I knew, okay, Kape won this round.
Agreed.
And I thought it was clear.
Yeah. Now,
but apparently not.
I am still going to say I'm frustrated with Manel Kape because as great as he looked in the second and even the third round, the guy still was so tentative to start this fight.
Yeah.
So my frustration is still growing with this guy who shows so much potential.
Oh, you see him and you just know.
And you even see it in this fight.
Yeah.
But it's like too little too late, And I get it. Like, he did pick it up in the second round. Looked great. Third round, back and forth. And Matthias looked great in his own right, really showing that he's a top 15 level talent.
He's very good.
But now it's just frustrating because Kape was literally the rising champion.
Yeah.
Had that pedigree coming in here, and now he's 0-2.
And he has 15 career wins, 14 via finish. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
but is
it showing the levels? Maybe, because Pantoja and now Matthias. But the output, clearly in Pantoja, we know it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But even last night, there were still moments where you're like, I mean, you could just keep going. In round 1.
In round 2, when he hurt Matthias, he started to kind of pounce, and then he backed off, which I get. You don't want to but then he just stopped throwing.
Yeah.
And he kind of coasted to a round victory. But it's like, dude, I think you could have maybe finished the fight there.
Yeah, it's odd. DC had good commentary on him. He's been training at AKA.
Oh, okay.
So with Habib and all those guys, and Javier Mendez was in his corner, so that was interesting. And that's what they talked about from really start to finish, him and Bisping. And, like you said, you see the potential when he's in there fighting. And especially in that round 2, you're like, okay, there he is. This is the guy. So, I don't know. It's unfortunate because, again, we both felt he won this. He should be 1-1, arguably with a number next to his name after last night, but he's not going to be. Mm-mm. All of a sudden, the former Rising Champs 0-2 in the promotion. I mean, what do you even do with the guy? It's tough now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think that he's going to... I mean, he got in there very quick here, coming off that last loss.
And I don't doubt he will do it quick again.
I think so, too.
To be honest with you.
I mean, you got to know that this has got to be pissing him off at this point,
especially last night, man.
When you feel like... Again, though, you can judge the judges and their scoring here, but at the same time... I'm still frustrated with them. I want to see that output over the course of 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I know he can do it. He's proven he can do it.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing it. And now it's costing him back-to-back fights here. And now he's kind of at a very standstill.
Hard. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to come back from it.
Yeah. Best of luck. I mean, I can't wait to see the guy fight again because I just have a feeling at some point we're going to see that full potential. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to have to let it happen or he won't be in the UFC much longer. You can't start your tenure in the UFC 0-3.
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
I mean, I know everybody thinks... I'm sure all the people in the UFC and the guys that match make, they think he won too. But at the end of the day, 0-2 is the record in the UFC.
I mean, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, a year from now, when you go back and look at the record books, you're not going to remember that Nicolau and Cape had iffy scorecards and that Cape probably won.
You're going to see
You're just going to see the L in the win, or the W in the L. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And both these guys still super young, by the way, so much potential here. Cape's only 27. Matthias is only 28.
Yeah.
And we love the flyweights. Just two more great guys that are going to continue to build.
For Nicolau, I'm giving him number 15.
Tyson Nam. That's a great
I think
fight.
you interject him into that top 15.
Yeah.
He was 3-1 prior to being cut. He comes back. He does get the win in a great fight that could have went either way, even though we both scored it for Cape.
Right.
Or you give him someone like Amir Albazi, and then you give Cape Tyson Nam or something. I mean, it would, either way, it wouldn't.
I feel like I still watch Cape, and I'm like, okay, can compete with the top 15 guys. And I guess I'll stick with it. This is still probably a really bold take, but I said last week I think Kai France should fight the winner of this fight. Fuck it. I'm stanking with it.
Okay.
Give me Kai France and Matthias, a guy that's going to test Kai on the ground and on the feet. That could be a hell of a fight too. So I know that's a step back for Kai, but he's still kind of in an odd spot.
Yeah.
And he'll seem to fight anybody. He just fought a guy that wasn't ranked. Why not do it again? I have a feeling Matthias might have a number next to his name come Tuesday. Just maybe.
Yeah, maybe Nam drops out of the
so,
top 15.
Great fight, though. Technical battle, but plenty of action at the same time.
Yeah, I really liked it. Moving on to bantamweight, Davey Grant.
Oh, man, the underdog.
With that knockout over Jonathan Martinez. Not a lot of people saw this coming, including us. What were your thoughts on this fight?
Martinez dropped Grant late in the first round and damn near finished the fight. And Martinez going into this was like a 4-1 favorite. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking, okay, he's just going to continue to capitalize, come out in the second round and look great. Davey Grant, man, to his credit, really dominated the whole second round on the feet. He was way more aggressive, was picking Martinez apart, and then that left hook came out of nowhere.
Well, see,
landed flush.
That's a good point, that he was dominating the second round.
Yeah.
You know, this is an example of a guy who just kind of had a lucky punch. I mean, this was a guy that was clearly showing that he was being...
Oh, yeah. It was odd to see a guy that had just got dropped 30 seconds earlier, or a minute earlier.
He was able to clear those cobwebs pretty quick,
Round 2 starts, and he looked damn good.
Yeah. No, it's a good win for him, for a guy who... He's 35 years old, towards the end of kind of his, probably past his physical prime.
Yeah.
This is only his third win via knockout. A guy that's a submission specialist. 8 wins via submission, and now he gets his third. This is back-to-back knockout wins for him.
Yep.
A guy that's maybe showing some, I don't know where he's from. He's from England.
He's from the UK. Yeah.
So he's showing some English power, I guess.
Yeah, Bisping was loving it.
Yeah, so...
There were 3 guys from the UK fighting last night. One of them won. The other 2 were involved in a no contest. So there's that for you.
Yeah.
Give my man Davey Grant Cheeto Vera.
Oh, really?
Give me a war. Give me a battle. I think Cheeto, ranked 15, coming off of a loss. He's still hovering around that area anyway, and I think he'd be down to fight anybody. I can't wait to see Cheeto back in the octagon. And Davey Grant having that, really a career resurgence in his late 30s now on 2-fight win streak, both via KO. I think they'd have a fun fight. And why not give the guy a shot to at least earn a number? So,
yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I wasn't, going in, I wasn't thinking about giving him a ranked opponent, and I guess I won't go there then. But if you're going to, I mean, that makes sense to me.
And Martinez, I'd still be on the lookout for him. He was a 4-1 favorite for a reason. I think that was slightly disrespectful to Grant at the same time, but Martinez showed a lot of promise. You saw what he did in that first round.
He's so young.
Power, very crisp striking. He'll be back for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's his first loss via knockout, by the way. His first loss via finish.
Really, every other was a decision?
Decision and 1 via disqualification.
There you go.
So if that doesn't tell you something.
Oh, Martinez will be back.
Moving on, featherweight. This one's quick.
Oh my.
Dan Ige.
50K Ige.
With the first punch he threw, knocks out Gavin Tucker 22 seconds into the first round.
To DC's credit, didn't it feel like it was 3 seconds and the fight ended? I don't know if you got to hear the commentary, but he's like, was that just the fastest knockout in UFC history? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was 4 seconds. Then they showed the replay, and it's like, oh no, it was actually 22 seconds in. It was because for like the first 18 seconds prior, they were just kind of shadow boxing. Nobody landed a shot. This was the first strike to land of the whole fight. Similar to kind of how Connor's left hook against Aldo.
I mean, both guys throwing.
Yeah.
One throwing a left, one throwing a right.
Oh, man. Ige landed clean on Tucker's chin. 1 punch, walk-off KO.
Yeah.
Looked like Mark Hunt.
Yeah,
Nasty.
did.
And then the kahunas on this guy, by the way. Oh, soon to be father, his wife, 36 weeks pregnant.
Awesome.
So about to have a baby. Got the $50K bonus last night. That's a good way to start it out. And damn it, Noah, he called out the Korean Zombie.
Yeah, he did. And you know what?
It's
hard. It's hard to say anything about the guy after a win like that.
And now he's 7-2 in the UFC.
Yeah. Look, I'll be upfront. I mean, based on our prediction episode, our preview episode, I was not super sold on Ige as a top 10 talent.
Shit.
Hard to doubt him with a performance like that. I mean, again, it's a one-punch KO. There's not a ton to talk about.
But we've seen so many good things from Gavin Tucker.
Well, I picked Tucker to win this fight, and to be knocked out so easily is, like, very shocking. Even if he was a guy outside the top 15, like, man, I mean, that's a hell of a performance right there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Ige and TKZ, man. Fuck it. If he called it out, I'm going with that one.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll give another one just
of course.
You know, I wouldn't mind it, though, just because that is who he said he wants, and I believe Korean Zombie's the type of guy to be like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett tore all the CLs.
All the CLs.
In his previous fight, but that was last summer.
Yep.
You think Dan Ige could get in there pretty quick, but maybe he'll wait a little bit. Who knows what he'll do? I think that would be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I wonder when Emmett will be cleared. So that was in June.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We're going on a year.
And, you know, that's about the time.
And a guy that's on a tear right now, on a 3-fight win streak, man.
And, I mean, he might be looking ahead, but when you look at who's ahead of Emmett, you got Cater, Korean Zombie, Rodriguez, Zabit, Ortega, Holloway, Volkanovski. I mean, he's kind of stuck right now.
Yeah.
Because of this layoff. So I think a fight with Ige being a guy who's main evented a card before, you could, and Emmett has as well.
Yeah.
You could definitely make that a fight night headliner.
100%. That'd be a hell of a fight.
People might not be like as invested in it as some of these others, but I think it would be that's a fight of the night written all over
Exactly. It. Apparently, if Ige's going to be in a fight announcement that we talk about, we might call it fight of the night potential.
Yeah, you know, and he earned my respect with this one. I mean, I respected the guy anyways. I don't want it to come off like that.
Man.
I wasn't sold on him being top 10.
I didn't know he had one-punch power.
A lot of these split decisions he had been in, but to go in there and make a statement.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. There's nothing I can say.
Man, you can't give a better nickname than 50K after last
night. Now
night.
He's got to look ahead.
Oh, 100% has to look forward here. For Gavin Tucker, this guy still has so much potential. You got caught with an incredible shot. Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say that, but he is up there. I mean, he is 35.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that he's fighting against the clock as well as his opponent, you know. So I agree with you. Go back to the drawing board, come back. He'll probably still be that fringe top 15 guy.
Yeah, he'll be right there.
But this is a gutting loss for a guy who was really in the biggest run of his career right now.
Right. I like it, man. Ige, shout out to freaking 50K, one-shot punch.
Yeah.
What a
earned every bit of it.
Oh, yes, he did.
The co-main event at light heavyweight.
Give me 3 boom, boom, boom KOs in a row.
Yeah,
we love it.
Ryan Spann with the TKO over Misha Serkinov, a minute 11 seconds into the first round.
Holy shit.
Dominic, I mean, this
fight
went a minute 11 seconds, but it was done pretty much the moment it started.
I was so right on this fight and so wrong at the same time, okay? So, number 1, said it was going to end in the first round. Check that box off. Number 2, I said Spann was definitely going to have the advantage on the feet with the speed and especially the power. Check that box off. The only box I didn't check, a Serkinov first-round submission. Never stood a chance. He got rocked early on. Spann moved in for the kill. He stood up at the perfect time. Serkinov invited him to the ground. He said, nope, you're going to have to get up and strike with the Superman. Then he knocked him down again, went in for the TKO. My oh my, Ryan Spann, now only 1 loss in the UFC, 5-1. Only loss to Johnny Walker. This guy's legit. And a guy that's 6'5", a long reach, only 27, 28 years old. This dude's a problem. Especially in a division right now that is so wide open and so many variables and moving pieces.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm very happy that this was the one fight I got right on the card, and I got it very right, so it feels good in that way. But this fight went about how I expected. Serkinov kind of showing that weakness in his chin again, and I mean, this is like the 3rd time that he's in his I don't know if it's back-to-back for... I think his last 3 losses all being really quick KOs.
No, bro. Serkinov, he only goes 1-round fights. He's either going to beat you in the first round or he's going to get KO'd
I'd be
in the
very
first
curious to see if you average out his fight time compared to other fighters.
It's short.
How high he is up there.
It is short.
But yeah, I mean, this fight went about how I expected. Ryan Spann just being the younger, the stronger, the harder puncher, the better guy on the feet in general.
And it's scary how good he looked on the feet because we're talking about a guy with 11 submission wins.
Yeah.
We know, going into that Johnny Walker fight, we're like, okay, this dude's a submission specialist. If he gets Johnny down, he's going to cause problems. We've seen Johnny get dominated on the ground. And then to have a stand-up war with Johnny, ultimately lose, and now this with Serkinov with basically a one punch. Yikes. Well-rounded stud.
I'm going to match make for Serkinov first. This is a tough loss for him. He's going to drop probably to like number 12 or 13, depending on how they do it. I'm going 15 Jamal Hill.
Yeah, I was going to say Hill and Craig are lined up, right?
No, they just fell out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a great fight then.
Yeah, so I would go Jamal Hill versus Misha Serkinov. I think that'd be really fun to test Jamal Hill.
That's a good test for Jamal. You know?
Now, I think we're going to disagree
a
little bit on Ryan Spann, so you go ahead with yours.
I'm going to get 2 back-to-back fighters in a row that had great call-outs, so I'm just going to go with both their call-outs. Ige, of course, with Korean Zombie. Spann calling for the winner of Jimmy Crute and Anthony Smith. That fight's happening April 24th, if I'm not mistaken, which is a banger in itself, by the way. Yeah. Smith and Crute, that's a huge test for both guys in 2 total opposite ways. And, Spann here was 13th coming in. Serkinov was 11th, so you got to figure he's at least going to be bumped up 2 spots. Really, the winner there would make sense. I don't think going from 11 to 6 would be too far of a jump. And even if Anthony were to lose that fight, I think Anthony Smith would be the fight to make regardless. I think that's a great fight. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay. I'm only disagreeing on picking the winner. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the loser of that fight. If Anthony Smith wins, being that he's number 6 ranked, I know Ryan Spann's probably going to jump up to about 11 or 10 here. Anthony Smith, and I know he's been showing an ability to just kind of take fights against whoever to really prove it. But if Anthony Smith beats Jimmy Crute, I think he's kind of earned a right to fight someone in the top 5.
Yeah.
While for Jimmy Crute, if he beats Anthony Smith, I think the UFC is going to want to push him into that top 5.
Yeah.
So I think the loser of this fight makes a little more sense for Ryan Spann, who is still coming off that quick KO loss to Johnny Walker. Good win here, but I want to see a little bit, I guess, slower progression. I don't know.
Yeah, Spann could very well be a title challenger in the future, man. All the intangibles, well-rounded. Be on the lookout for Superman.
Only thing you got to worry about with him is that his chin can get a little touchy.
He can't get into the crazy firefights. Yeah. We saw it with Johnny. Outside of that, again, 5-1 in the UFC against tough guys. Be on the lookout for Superman. Love the nickname, by the way.
Yeah,
he has the Superman logo tattooed on his chest.
It's nice. Main event time.
Well, we started with a dull note.
So you got Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad fighting to a no contest. 18 seconds in the second round.
18 seconds.
Let's just be frank. There was not a worse possible way for this fight to end than what happened Saturday.
And for both guys.
For both of them.
Awful. I was so sad. I was sitting in my recliner just like, That fight started and I was like, oh.
It deflates you.
And Leon looked good. Belal was holding his own in the first round, but you saw Rocky just like, holy shit.
Leon was potentially looking like he could finish this fight.
Man, he hadn't skipped a beat. If not, he's just gotten better.
Yeah.
And then second round, he lands an eye poke in the first round, very slight. Mm-hmm. Belal called it out and they stopped the fight, but they went right back in. This one, it was icky.
Yeah, I mean,
his eye bled.
Yeah, you could see his eye bleeding.
It was
and stuff.
bad.
It's rough. There's not a ton to really say here. You know, I was pessimistic about this main event for Leon Edwards. I said if he goes out there and kind of coasts his way to a win, then I don't see what it really does for him. He wasn't coasting.
Oh man.
However, the fact that the fight goes like this, there's no way he's getting a title fight.
You can't
going off this.
You can't. He called for that, but you can't.
And honestly, I don't have.
But do you run it back?
I don't have that much interest in it being ran back.
Let's talk through this.
Okay,
I was interested to talk about this.
Yeah, so here's kind of my opinion: is Belal Muhammad was given this opportunity because Khamzat Chimaev fell out,
right?
And I get it. He was on a win streak of his own, so it was a huge opportunity for him. I don't think based off what I saw alone in this fight, I don't need to see this fight ran back. I don't. Even though, again, anything could happen, I personally am going to give Belal someone a little bit further down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you still give him a decently high opponent just for being I don't know, as a sign of gratitude for even stepping up.
Him and Jing Liang would be a firefight. Lee.
I actually think
that's what he called for when he won, funny enough.
Yeah.
In his last bout. Little did he know he'd get a main event with Leon.
But. Yeah, Jing Liang would be fun. So that's. Do you want to talk about your thoughts on them running it back potentially? Again, the problem is that Leon's just kind of left in no man's land again.
Part of me was like, I guess you should run it back, but then part of me was like,
this fight literally couldn't have been worse. If Leon would have lost this fight, it would have been better than what happened.
Yeah. 100%. More direction, at least.
That's what I mean.
You're just like, what do you do?
Because now, what I worry about is Leon's still going to be stubborn about taking opponents like Wonderboy Thompson, like Michael Chiesa. But none of these guys that he wants to fight are going to fight him. Colby Covington, I don't think, is going to fight him. Maybe Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert's calling for June. That's what he wants to fight.
Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Man. It's tricky.
I don't want to see him fight Belal Muhammad because if he wins that fight, again, this fight would be ran back, in May, June, July?
Yeah.
A win there, and he still, in my eyes, doesn't earn a title shot.
I think it's different if these guys had a full fight camp and this was the fight from the get-go. But like you said, it came on, 2 weeks' notice, 3 weeks' notice? They threw it together. Belal saved the card, really.
Yeah, I know.
So, you probably don't run it back. Will I be surprised if they do? No. I can see him running it back. I don't know if Leon will even accept that or even contemplate it happening, though.
And I will say he was very respectful in his post-fight interviews and stuff, and I could tell he was trying to be professional, but you could tell that he's gutted.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously Belal was gutted because this is the biggest fight of his career, and now it ends like that. This fight shouldn't be ran back. That's my opinion. It shouldn't be.
I would do either Wonderboy or Colby. And he probably has a better chance of fighting Wonderboy in terms of his opponent taking the fight. But will Leon take a fight with Wonderboy? Who knows? Wonderboy's calling for the title.
Yeah.
He's like, damn it. These guys are going to run it back. Colby's not fighting, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Kamaru.
Yeah.
You haven't fought me yet. And personally, that is a fresh matchup. And I'd love to see Steven fight Usman, but that's not going to happen. You got to go. Like you said, Gilbert Burns isn't a bad fight, and that'd be a cool fight.
I'll go Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns. That's the fight I'm going to go with.
I didn't think about that last night.
I didn't either.
It makes sense.
It's just, man, this is just it really deflates you,
It was awful. Couldn't have been a worse.
I really wanted to see Edwards come in here and make a statement, like it looked like he was going to do.
He was doing it, yeah.
And really showed that he should fight for a title. I want to see Usman get kind of a fresh face. I know
that would be a rematch years in the
making.
making.
They fought before, but still years in
it's intrigue, storyline. That's Leon's last loss.
And then to go like this, he's not going to get a title fight off this. He's not. So you give him someone that, and I don't think you should run it back because even if he beats Belal in a rematch, he still doesn't get a title fight in my opinion. Belal is not a pedigreed enough opponent to earn a title fight off of. So therefore, I give him Gilbert Burns. I'm going to give Belal Muhammad Jeff Neal.
Oh.
Or, actually, I might go with Neil Magny.
Oh, I like that. I like that fight.
That might be the most boring fight in the world, but,
You never know. I'll go Li Jingliang because I think that's a really fun fight stylistically. Man, like you said, we couldn't have had a worse result in this main event.
That's what I'm saying. Is this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity for Belal Muhammad, and Leon just looking to get back in there.
Yes, you're gutted for both guys.
That's why, going off of this, I don't think their paths should cross at least until Belal can put on a string of wins and show that he's in the top 5. It's tough, but I don't. This back would not be a smart idea for Leon Edwards. If I'm being honest, I know he's the one that caused it, but if I'm him, I'm not accepting it.
I don't think he will. What do you think is going through the brains of those matchmakers come Tuesday at their meeting?
I personally think that I could be way off on this. I think they're going to be annoyed, first off, because, once again, there was nothing that really was answered here. Leon is still kind of stuck in this spot where he's like kind of just in purgatory.
Yeah.
And then Belal, there's more you can do with Belal right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But Bilal's probably going to be basically only wanting that rematch.
Yeah.
And I see his point. He prepared. He took this fight. He saved the card. So he feels like he didn't feel like he really got a fair shake.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would understand him wanting to run it back. I'm just saying it ain't gonna happen. I think the matchmakers are gonna basically go, all right, let's look ahead now. What can we get for Leon here pretty soon?
Yeah. You have to turn Leon around quick.
Maybe in May or June.
You got to turn him quick.
But he needs to fight a guy that if he wins, it's enough to prove that it's title shot time.
Man, the more I'm sitting here and you saying Burns, I'm just going to agree with you. Burns is coming off of a title loss.
Yeah.
Leon's coming
8-fight
win streak and a no contest.
If Leon goes in there and looks like he did in that first round against Belal and even starches Burns,
he'll get the title shot. He's so long has.
And I want that for him, even though I'm kind of frustrated.
And Burns is going to bring it to Leon.
While Belal, I say you give him someone like a top 10 Neil Magny because at least a win.
And that's reward him.
It's rewarding him, but there was no reason for him to be fighting the number 3 ranked fighter in the division.
Right, it was just something
he just got into the top 15.
Yeah.
So that's my direction. This is very frustrating. It sucks.
That's one of those things you just hated.
Sucks. UFC needs to do something about their gloves, by the way.
Yeah.
You see the picture. You see the pictures on Twitter.
The curved in fingers.
That's what they need to do.
So you would have to fight against the glove to get your fingers pointed out.
And that's the way it should. You should not be able to do that. You
straight out.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
And I bet as a fighter, it's so because they say you can do it as long as you keep your hand up. Right. Obviously they can't see us, but you see what I'm doing. So but as a fighter, you're not gonna. What are you gonna do? Patty cake them?
Right.
That's got to feel so weird as a fighter. Whereas you can just flick your fingers to gauge distance instead. Mm-hmm. It's a tough spot, man. But people have been calling for the gloves to change for a while now. Shout out to Trevor Whitman with Onyx. They've designed gloves like this. Dana White loved them. He talked about it on Joe Rogan's podcast. So much so the UFC wants to buy the technology that they use for their gloves.
And that's the reason the UFC hasn't implemented them because Whitman refuses to sell them.
And now all of a sudden you see this happen in a main event in a fight that had a lot of big implications for both guys go like this. You're probably sitting at the drawing board this week at the UFC just at least thinking of something.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine anyway.
I agree.
Love to be a fly on the wall for those meetings.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess that's going to finish off this results and recap for hashtag UFC Vegas 21. Overall, a great night of fights, but you never like to have these kind of... Yeah. Even if no matter what fight it is on the card, it sucks that's the main event. And then you got another fight on the main card.
Yeah, 2 out of 6 with no winner.
Yeah,
or loser.
It's just tough, But overall, a great night of fights, per usual. As for the rest of the week, Friday...
Can't wait for this main event.
Another preview episode for...
22.
Hashtag UFC Vegas 22. Headline.
This is fun.
By some middleweight boys that are making some noise.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Brunson and Kevin Holland. Really excited about that fight, along with the return of Gregor Gillespie in that co-main event. Taito Ivasa on this card.
We got another 6-fight main card, don't we?
I only see
5 for now? Okay.
But, we'll see what happens when we get a little closer. That poster looks sick.
I love that poster. You got the quiet Brunson, big mouth, what they call Kevin Holland, yelling. I can't wait for that.
So be on the lookout for this card. It's going to be on ESPN, this main card. So that's always fun when they put them on the actual ESPN.
And we're back to 10 p.m. Damn it.
Yeah. But that episode's coming to you Friday.
Yep.
Till then, Dominic, tell the good people where they can find you on social media.
On Twitter, on Instagram, at DSlee14. Find the podcast on Twitter, on Instagram, at BAJ_podcast. MMA podcast. On Twitter, we're closing in on 150 followers.
Nice.
On Instagram, closing in on 60. Help us bump the numbers up, folks. A lot of great content over there.
Thank you.
No.
Nice plug.
Yeah, take them away.
As for me, if you go to my bio on Twitter or Instagram at @ntbaker_, you'll be taken to our link tree, which gives you the links to all the platforms that the podcast is on, along with the social media platforms. That includes the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube channel, and Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. It's all on there, baby. And there's a couple links for the Anchor page. First, leaving a voice message. Something we really have been looking to hit in 2021. You've heard a couple of our friends speak on here. If you have a thought or opinion on an upcoming fight, a fight that's already taken place, a news story, if you just want to say hi, if you want to ask a question, tell us we're a piece of shit, you can do it there. You have 60 seconds.
Thoughts on eye pokes?
Yeah, there you go. Nice little one to throw out there. Also, there's a link if you want to become a supporter of the podcast. That just provides us with a few dollars a month. All that money goes back into improving the quality of the podcast, whether it be audio equipment or down the line doing a video podcast. Again, you can find all that if you go to my bio on Twitter or Instagram at @ntbaker_. But with that, we're out, and we'll see y'all on